Hello guys, this video is about AI art, artificial intelligent art, and about artist scammers. So I'm reacting, I'm making a very quick point to react to a Samdoesart video. Samdoesart is a famous YouTuber and an artist that I'm a follower, and he recently posted a video about artists who traced artificial intelligence art and who use artificial intelligence generative art in their creation process, which are clearly artist scammers because they can't be called really artists when they do that. So this subject is a fashionable subject and one that often creates buzz. To be precise, bad buzz generally. We can no longer count the videos talking about pseudo-artists who accuse other artists of tracing their drawings on drawings generated by artificial intelligence, AI. Most often wrongly, in fact. Those accusations are not systematically wrong, but very, very often wrong. And for a good reason. The criteria used by those artists, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, so I was saying the element used by these Sherlock Holmes to call out artists are clearly not efficient and completely wrong. And that's the subject of Samdoesart's video, because Samdoesart takes in 10 minutes flat, he takes point by point all the arguments used by harassing trolls, and he dismantles each argument one by one. So I invite you to watch the video, and I will put the link in the description below. So I took some notes because some of the points all those Sherlock Holmes use are difficult to remind because they are clearly not very scientific. So a drawing would be drawn under AI art if the contours are too thin, the outlines. The argument is so ridiculous, as if artist has waited for an artificial intelligence to favor thin outline, fine outlines, as their drawing skills improved. It's not necessary to develop too much on the jealousy that is inherent of this accusation. It's just because they can't draw thin arts and thin lines. The second element that can indicate that a drawing has been traced under artificial intelligence is when the hands are poorly drawn. As Samdoesart explains, the drawing of the hands is not an artificial intelligence problem, it's a drawing problem. This is one of the most difficult anatomy shapes to master. For every traditional artist, it's difficult. You can forget to draw one finger. You can just draw a shape that's not really appropriate, not correct, you can always have an odd looking hand, and it doesn't mean that it's traced by AR. Most artists, beginners artists, try to hide hands because they are so difficult to draw. So other harassers mentioned shapes that are not very logical, like poorly proportionate strands of hairs, locks, backgrounds that are not rational. It's very difficult for artists to keep to get an art style, and most artists complain that their own art lacks consistency. Only a very good artist manage to have a very recognizable style, and whereas beginners artists say they have a personal style, and most of the so-called Sherlock Holmes artists that are harassing artist scammers, they are beginners artists, and they think they have a style, but it's not a style, it's just clumsy, and it's just because they don't master the basics of anatomy, which we have talked about that already. So it's not because you don't know how to draw proper anatomy that you got a style. Your mistakes in your drawings, this is not a style, and only very good artists have a style. We can make a whole video about that, but clearly you can't say that an artist is tracing on artificial intelligence because he has no consistency. This is a step in the evolution of your artistic skills, and when you begin to lack consistency, it's because you progressively correct all your mistakes, and you still don't have a unique style. So clearly my advice to those jealous people: less criticism and more work, and you will see quickly the quality of your drawings increase. We'll add another argument, another element that Samdoesart did not mention, he did not list, but which was opposed to me when I was accused of tracing artificial intelligence art. Very saturated colors and chromatic aberrations. Apparently this is one of the particularities of AI art. It turns out that this is also one of my particularities, and it has been for years, even before artificial intelligence existed and was used for drawing. Okay, all these arguments are dishonest, and they only prove the toxicity of the people who use them. And I think the reason is jealousy. If we summarize the criticism that are made, it's, yeah, your art is great. He's probably a scammer because he still draws very well, except for the hands. And if you nitpick a little, you will find little things that are odd. But still, overall it's very pretty and colorful, and he's made a lot of progress. He probably cheated. For me, those people are mainly narcissists who does not accept the fact that some others can progress faster than them in drawings. What angers me is that by default these self-proclaimed vigilantes defend this thesis that artificial intelligence is more pleasant to look at than classic drawings. They claim the opposite, of course, but in truth, they only attack artists whose talent is superior to theirs. We never accuse a great beginner of having copied artificial intelligence. So it's just perverse jealousy, in my opinion. Samdoesart, in its video, offers a solution to artists who are falsely accused of being scammers. This solution is interesting, but in my opinion, it's not effective. For Samdoesart, you would therefore have to publish your full art process to prove that you did not copy or trace anything. So you have to record yourself while you're drawing, and you post the proof. And I wanted to react on that for different reasons, because it cannot work. First, experience shows me that it doesn't work. When I was accused, I posted several time lapse, several art process, numerous videos actually, and none of them were enough for my aggressor. Because it's not enough for the video to show your art process, there must be no cut, it must start from the beginning, etc., etc. Conditions which are never met in practice, in the real world. My experience has painfully proved it to me. Second, the psychology of the aggressor, of the attacker, also prove that it does not work. To unfairly accuse someone without proof, you need to have such a lack of empathy and such an inordinate ego that these harassers will never admit that they were wrong. The aggressor will never admit it's wrong. So the psychology of the aggressor shows that Samdoesart solution does not work. And the question of money finally proves that it does not work. It is not possible. If you are an artist, you know two things for sure. First, you draw a lot, and second, you are not rich, because money does. So it is physically impossible to record all your videos unless you manage to have a high level income from your art, which is maybe the case of Samdoesart. So maybe he forgot how difficult it is to make it for a living for less known artists. When you got money, you will use it to buy art supplies or to feed or basic needs, but clearly you cannot afford as many external hard drives there as it would be necessary if you have to record all your drawings, because you're drawing full day. No, it's not possible. There is something in what Samdoesart said that I particularly liked. So he tells us that if he were accused of tracing art, and tracing art on artificial intelligence, the accusation would be so shameful that he would put everything to prove his innocence. It's very interesting because it's the opinion of a recognized artist. However, when unsuccessful artists are accused of tracing over AI art, they have the same reaction and react the same way. I tried to prove my innocence by posting all the videos I could of my time-lapse, of my art process, of my traditional art to prove that I could draw with a pencil, and then I could digitally draw without tracing, and I didn't need to trace. I did all of that and it backfired. My aggressor told me that the energy I was trying to prove my innocence, the energy I was putting in that was suspicious, and that it confirmed to it that I was guilty. So this is exactly the case of manipulation by narcissists and by narcissist perv. They entangle their victim in unfounded accusations, and then when the victim defends themselves, they accuse them by reversing the role of the culprit and the victim. Obviously, when someone is wrongly accused, it's normal for them to defend themselves, and it's not suspicious. Finally, I will give my opinion on how to know if an art comes from an IA or not. First of all, I find, even if it's an unpopular opinion, I find that for the moment, artificial intelligence is very repetitive, and there is a huge consistency in IA art. So if an artist which is not a professional and a very good artist manages to have consistency, this might be, and this consistency is a very specific one, which is clearly related to artificial intelligence, then it might be traced on it, but it can also be just someone who used images as a reference, and it's AI art image. It happens to be because you can find a lot of them on Pinterest, so you can't be absolutely sure, but you can guess that they have been inspired always by the same model. And if they are real artists, most of the time their references are not always the same artist. You have loads of references. So if you have a huge consistency into a non-professional art, I find it doubtful. It's just for the moment, because as they improved, artificial intelligence will become more and more difficult to artificial intelligence is going to become more and more difficult to spot out. The most effective argument for the moment, and the most determining element, is still time. For me, whether you are a good artist or not, even if you're a beginner or if you're intermediate level, it doesn't care. It still takes time to draw and to create something. We are not machines. We need to take breaks. We go through art crisis, and we doubt from ourselves. We have out blocks. We take time to get out of it, assuming we don't get a wave of hatred because of stupid people who enjoy falsely accusing us. This is what makes us humanity, and this is a difference between artificial intelligence An account that publishes on a daily basis several similar and good quality drawings every day is suspicious, in my opinion. I detect artificial intelligence. So this is clearly not the element that are popular about AI scammers, Sherlock Holmes. This is the contrary of what they say, but this is my way of deciphering if this art. So this is how I decipher art when I'm wondering if it's AI traced art. My final advice is if you are called out on this subject, if people are harassing you saying that you are a scammer and you're just an artist, do not respond. Do not justify. Don't try to justify yourself. Block toxic people. They will always claim that you are lying. The risk you're running is that you risk damaging your own imagination and your inspiration, and your imagination is your most precious assets. Let's protect it. Love on your head.